What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Dead Noise. I'm Chris, and thanks to the power of Zoom, I am here with the DC-based skate punk band American Television. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Awesome. Doing great. Thanks.
Your guys' new EP, You're Not Alone, comes out September 19th via Smart Punk Records. So at the time of this recording, we're about 3 weeks out from the release, but the closer it gets, how excited are you guys for people to finally hear this?
I'm
I'm very excited for people to hear this. It's 6 songs, so it's a little shorter than some of the other stuff that we've put out, but it's actually it's going to be our first recording featuring Chris, who joined our band about 2 years ago. But it's the first original songs we've written with him and recorded and released. So that alone, for the four of us together as a band, makes it very exciting, and we're very proud of what we put together.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since our last release, so yeah, I'm really that one's called Scars, but yeah, very excited to put some new stuff out and hit the road and see some new cities and support it.
This was one of the questions I had, so this is perfect. It is your guys' first original recordings with Chris Thompson since he joined the band about 2-ish years ago. So maybe if Chris, you might have input on this, but Steve and Brian, how did adding Chris into the lineup kind of impact your guys' songwriting process, and what was the overall writing and recording experience like with him in the fold?
I take back that shit from earlier. This is the part where these two make me uncomfortable.
I
You're welcome.
yeah, I think the first half of that question, the music, like writing these songs, I think like Chris brings a more skilled guitar playing than myself to the band, so it's pretty nice to have someone who actually can navigate the neck of a guitar and play some leads. I'm a rhythm guitarist, but yeah, like the style that Chris has brought to the band, it is he's added some like faster touches and some really cool solos and other leads that I would not be able to execute myself. So that's been really quite awesome to see what that opens up in our sound. And I think these 6 songs like really show what Chris is capable of. And then as far as the writing process around that, I mean, Chris and I have collaborated on a few songs, whether it's starting with the chorus or different parts, but maybe Chris, do you want to share what it's felt like to work together on the writing songs?
Yeah, I think because I stopped kind of playing in bands more than a decade ago when I decided to focus on family and career for a while. So I was, for lack of a better term, playing with myself for a while. And I was writing a lot of stuff, and everything was done my way, whether that's like good or bad at the end of the day is, a different conversation. But when I joined these guys and I was bringing ideas, there was like, I feel like this initial, like, that doesn't work. Like, and I think Steve and I really had to find our style and how we were going to mesh together. And I think ultimately what came out of that is a whole lot of good stuff. Like I would bring ideas to the table, and Brian would say, "Hey, like this part doesn't work, for that part, or like what I'm hearing." And then Steve, from an overall songwriting perspective and lyricist or vocal perspective, would come in and say, "Hey, like I like this part, and then I took that second part and I did this and I changed it up here." And I think it's been really cool to see, like, after writing songs all by myself for a long time, like what other people can help them evolve into. And it's been awesome. Like Brian said earlier, I'm like really proud of these songs and like what we've all built together with them.
How does it feel to be playing music again? Because I'm sure that that's a fantastic outlet for you, and it's at the
Yeah.
very least a lot of fun. So how does it feel to be doing that
It
again?
it feels awesome to be doing it, and I think it's been a big change, but it's been like a welcome and like fun adventure kind of change. Like one of the things that I spoke about, or we all spoke about before I was invited to join up, was this has to be fun. Like, and if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. And I'm still here because I'm having a bunch of fun. And stylistically, like, I think for what it's worth, I've had to kind of slow down. I'm a very hyper person, and I play a lot of fast stuff. And one of the things that I had to remember coming into this was I'm not going to be able to carry that constant like 200 beats per minute double time tempo that I was used to. So I've really been sort of like these guys have really challenged me to write things that work for American television rather than just whatever I'm coming up with. And I've also had a computerized drummer for the last several years, so that's been an adjustment too, like actually having to listen to Brian and do what he says too.
And the press release for this EP said that it was I'm looking at the paragraph. I'm trying to keep it concise, but just to read straight from it, it says that the EP was written to create a sense of community in these dark times that we're living in the year of our Lord 2025, and to empower those who feel unseen, and to serve as a reminder for us to work to live, not live to work, which is a mantra that I cannot get behind enough. It's like my favorite motto. And you see on the news all the time, like, oh, for the past 10 years, we're more divided than we've ever been as a nation, as people in general, and it just gets worse every single year. So, with music, and especially with punk music and skate punk, how how do you find the positivity in like the world that we live in and make such fun songs? Is it difficult or does it just come naturally to you guys?
Well, I think if you listen to the lyrical context, it's usually darker. I do have a darker view of the world, but kind of like Alkaline Trio might wrap up something into a darker lyrical theme, but it sounds poppy or like Saves the Day or something like that. Like I kind of
Senses fail.
yeah, and it's not that I steal from there, but I'm influenced from there, you know? As far as like how when I'm writing the songs, I try to keep them uplifting. Like ultimately, I want things to be better. So if I'm writing the lyrics to a song, like it's not all doom and gloom. I try to sh- try to like, you know, if in the last verse or whatever, like, shine some positivity or hope in there. And that's something that I try to keep in my sights. The other thing is, we're part of a community of people who share similar thoughts and points of views, and like I think it's just good to know that like there are others that are viewing the world through the same lens, because the news is pretty quick to jam uh division like down your throat to keep people at odds so they get their clicks and their views on their videos and stuff. But like there's actually a lot of people in the world who whether you're on one side or other of the argument, that I think like there's a community for like-minded folks to come together, and punk rock is that community for me. So people who have a little bit of positivity, and at least we can like give each other high fives and like, have a beer and enjoy a night together.
Yeah, and I think a theme to this record and is finding connections in that negativity. So even if you're feeling down or you're feeling pissed off or frustrated or whatever it is, just knowing that there's other people out there that are feeling the same way. Um, that's a positive aspect of it. So, even if things suck and you're feeling down, it's better that you're around, and it's better that you know that there's folks out there that feel like you do.
Like I said earlier, it's hard for me to pick a favorite song because all six are just so dope. But I believe at the time of this recording, the only single that's out is the title track. Is that right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, out of the non-singles and what's still to come, which songs are you most excited for fans to hear when the full EP's out?
Oh man. Well, first, thank you for saying that you like them and that they're all bangers. Like that feels good. Yeah, hopefully when you do an EP of 6 tracks, like there's no filler. It's all killer, no filler, right?
Yep.
So, I think like for me, I really like the opening track of the record. It's called This Is Hell. Um, it's kind of about it's about like how even when you think you're getting it ahead in life, whether you've got your bills paid off or whatever, something's gonna come along and like kick you in the nuts. And I think some of the guitar parts in there are pretty unique, and I'm really stoked that that's the opener on the record, because when we were deciding the track order, I felt like that was a good song to like kick things off. And so yeah, that's the one I'm most excited for.
Probably The Time Is Now, I think is one that I'm really excited for. I just think there's a lot of dynamics to that one, and it's a lot of fun, like with the vocals, with the guitar work. It's been a lot of fun to play live at practice. And have we played that a couple times live actually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. People have come up to us after the show and specifically said, like, that song, like that chorus is so good. And it's, okay, cool. Like, it's good to get feedback like that, not
Yeah.
just like good set.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited. There's a song called Witches. Just, being the age that I am, grew up with grunge music, and finally got the guys to write me a grunge riff, at least for the intro of the song before we switch over to melodic punk stuff. But yeah, it's pretty different from anything that we've done. It's one of my favorite riffs that we've got on any song. So I'm pretty stoked for that one.
I think from a musical standpoint, if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be Stronger. Um, so I'm kind of curious, are there any recollections from the making of that song or anything like when you listen back to it, like what does that remind you of or what does that song mean to you?
So I think at the time, like, we were in the middle. I think when I wrote that, we were in the middle of like this election cycle. So
Oh,
the candidates that I were, and I don't Bernie didn't even run this time, but I was, a big Bernie fan in the first Trump era. But that didn't work out, and then was not too fond of the situation. But when Kamala Harris started like speaking, I was at first a little like apprehensive because I didn't think she made a very like good vice president. Like just she didn't really present that like the ideas and things that they were achieving very well. So I wasn't bought in, but seeing her speak kind of made me go, okay, like this is a strong woman, and it got me thinking about other women in my life that are strong individuals, like my mom, my sister, people that I've had as bosses. I've had a lot of female bosses in my life, and like just knowing that the adversity and the sort of that initial feeling of like distrust or whatever that people like seem to have that they're not capable or something like that. It really irritates me. And so I think like that song Stronger is my sort of me sharing that I've got their back and that I I believe that and understand to the best I can as a white male like that like it's not an easy road and they work really hard to like cut through a male dominated world, and so I was just thinking all of that while I was writing that song.
and I want to talk with you about the artwork because I do this whenever I talk to any band about a release because I'm really big on albums and EPs and collective bodies of work, and the art is a huge part of that. And I also just am a nerd when it comes to designs and stuff like that. Like some of my favorite album covers are like from Iron Maiden or Blue Oyster Cult or Alice Cooper. So, and I love the color tones for this EP. I really liked the design on Scars too, and just the style and everything. So, what was the overall vision for this release, and how does it kind of coincide with the music in your guys' perspective?
On the cover, you've got a pretty desolate street, and you've got two kids in the foreground on a old school like tin can string telephone. And so like what we were thinking about that is just like, in the modern age, a lot of us are buried in our devices or not communicating. And I tend to, I believe a lot in building community. So whether it's putting on shows and connecting with people that way or just helping people out in my neighborhood, like I tend to be out there and like I'm like a small time mayor of Hemlock Woods, my street. But anywho, the kids on the cover are meant to convey that separate sort of like lives that people are living. And then on the back of the record, which you probably didn't get a chance to see, they're actually running away together and the tin cans are abandoned on the street. So the idea is that they like, they're not in two houses, like separated by just a string, playing with each other from their own houses. They're actually out in the world and experiencing it. And so like that felt like that's what we're living in a little bit. So I kind of want to return to that sort of get outside. I've been saying it a lot this summer to my own son, get outside. So yeah, it really
Touch
really
grass. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that
yeah. Touch grass is what the kids say. Yeah, so that's really like where it stems from, is just trying to show that like we can connect and outside of a distant world. And and the artwork itself, Chris is actually the one who helped coordinate the artist stereo design. So I'm Chris is leaning in. I wonder if he's going to say something here. Yeah, cool. Well, yeah. Seabass is a he goes by Stereo Design, Sterio on Instagram. And like once Chris shared some of the artwork that he's done for other bands in the Thousand Island Records and other Fat Records scene and stuff, we were like, whoa, this guy's great. Let's see what he can how he can interpret this. So the color palette and the style is all him.
What's an American television show like, and like what's that live environment like? Because I feel like it's a lot of fun, kind of like a ska show, but not quite. Just looking at Chris's background, I told him earlier, it reminds me of like Less Than Jake and Bowling for Soup and stuff like that. So what's the energy and environment like for your guys' shows?
I would say we that's what we aspire to, is to have that kind of energy. We're obviously smaller crowds than either of those bands would draw, but try to engage folks, try to make it a good time. Again, like we talked about earlier, some of our songs might have kind of like darker, deeper meanings, but in the live environment, it's there to be a celebration, to kind of forget your worries, and hang out with your friends. So that's the kind of vibe we try to create.
Yeah, I agree. Like we tend to play like 100 cap rooms, and it really depends on the combination of bands on the bill, but like, we try to fill those rooms as best we can. And I think like we do try to make it a joyous thing, and we try to bring an entertainment value to the stage. I don't think we're Chris is our most animated player now. I need to do some more sit-ups. But I remember the band that we played with that actually really inspired me to step up my stage performance was the Dirty Nil. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see them, but the guitar poses, it's like pure rock and roll. Like, and it's like, if I've listened to some interviews with their singer, and he talks about how like his influences are The Who and Rocket from the Crypt and these other bands that bring like an intense energy to the stage. And like when we played with them, I was like, I better amp up my performance a little bit. And ever since then, I've tried to like, keep that bar high when we're on stage.
When I was younger, when I was like getting into a lot of more like faster, aggressive music and getting into guitar playing, there were guys like the guys for Strung Out or Luke Pavich from Good Riddance, were like people that I like. I love the writing. I love the live energy. And then I saw Sick of It All, and Pete Kohler like blew my fucking mind. Like I named a cat after him. And I remember watching an interview where I think it was him or Lou that says like, we're here to play, we're here to have fun, and it doesn't matter if there's four people in the room or 4,000, you're going to get the same energy out of us. We're going to have the same amount of fun. And I've always like remembered that, and I kind of try to live by that same thing, that same vibe. Like I'm there to have fun, and I want to put in the same amount of energy and have the same amount of fun, like no matter who's in the room. So it's kind of always been like my thing.
I always feel bad whenever I go to smaller shows because I'm one of those fans. Like I'm in the back and I have my arms crossed because I don't know what else to do with my hands. Like I'm in heavy mosh retirement. I don't do that. So like, but like I still feel like as emotional and like really invested in the music and the performance as the people moving around like crazy are. I just can't do it myself. Um, so I always feel bad when I go to shows and the musicians playing probably see me and I look like I'm having the worst time of my life, even though it's the exact opposite. Just like
Yeah, I'm
that.
like that. I'm like that probably 90% of the time, and then there's a handful of bands that'll get me out of it. But they're few and far between these days.
Before I let you guys go, we have arrived to my favorite part of every interview, and this is a speed round. So we'll go Brian, Steve, Chris. I got 5 questions. You are more than welcome to elaborate. Of course, I don't keep time. I don't have the budget for that. But yeah, you can say whatever comes first to your mind. I got 5 questions. First one, your favorite song to play live.
My favorite song to play live. Oh man. It's probably the first one off the new EP. It's called This Is Hell. Starts
Hmm.
with a like just a little drum fill and then goes right into it, and there's some like heartbeat style drums when the vocals kick in. So that one's just it was fun to write and it's fun to play.
I think for me, Creek, we have a song called The Creek. It's about a family vacation that my wife and son and I went on after like when he was finally not just a baby anymore. And so it was kind of really meaningful and I like playing that one live because it makes me smile.
I think it's moments because sometimes we get to squeak in a whiskey shot in the middle of it, which is fun. Um, it's a really fun song to play, and it's always like kind of engaging. I think it's one of the more engaging like favorites when we play live. And again, we sometimes stop and have a shot of whiskey.
Your most embarrassing moment on stage.
I feel like we probably need to answer that one for each other, but
Oh,
um, man, I think when I was in a band in college, my bass drum beater broke, and I like crouched down behind the drums and tried to fix it for like 5 minutes, and it didn't work, and I threw it across the room out of frustration, and just like being like that in the public eye was embarrassing to me.
Uh, I would have to say the worst show I ever played of my life was still the most embarrassing, but it was like everything was queued up with the sound guy, and when we started to play, there was no vocals. And then within 40 seconds, I broke a string. And then the next song, I like stepped on my cord and unplugged my guitar. It was just like a comedy of errors. Looking back, sure, fine, whatever, it happened. But that night, it was awful.
I have a handful of moments, but I'm gonna keep it to AMTV specific. Like my very first show with this band, very first show, very first song. Steve looks over at me and he's like, "You ready?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Okay." And he starts this song, and my amp wasn't working. So my first song, first show with this band, there are pictures of like the guys playing, and then like me, like just my nose up behind my amp, like pulling cable. Um, so that I was off. I started out well here. It was a lot of it was awesome.
There's a professional photo of you doing that, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that photo is seared into my mind. It's great.
is it on your guys' Instagram by any chance?
We
God,
should
I
put it
hope
up.
not. Steve's gonna put it up. Although.
Maybe we'll send it to you. That way you can post it.
Oh, please. Your dream tour lineup.
I think going on tour with a band like Avail would be awesome. They just bring big crowds and positivity, and getting to see them every night would be awesome. Um, I think just to make it a package tour. Um, man,
Is this a four-band bill we're talking?
Yeah,
four? Okay. Um,
it can be however many bands you want, but sure.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while.
It's going to be the fest in Gainesville.
Yeah. Um, a band we did a couple shows with is a band called New Junk City from Atlanta. They were super fun to play with and get to know, over the course of a couple days. I think that would be great. Kind of us and then them, and then maybe I don't know, Iron Chic and Avail. I think that would be a killer tour. Just for getting to see those bands every night.
I'm just gonna do a three band bill, make life easy. I think I would want to go out with our friends in the Iron Roses. Pedro recorded our record, and he's in that band, and we've gotten to know them, and like we played with them once or twice, I think, and I really enjoy them. They're nice people. So I'd love to be out on the road with them. And then if we were gonna have a headliner on it, a band, this is a greedy one, but I would love to, if Civ came back from like the 90s, I would put Civ as the headliner and go out on the road with Civ. So there's my Civ Gorilla Biscuits. It's, practically the same band, but Civ is a fun alternative version of Biscuits.
This is another one of those where like I need to like make a spreadsheet and like really analyze it. But I think doing something fun like Sick Move from Baltimore, us, the Bumpin' Uglies out of
Mhm.
Maryland, like and oh, who would headline that? I don't, oh my God. Face to face on the top of that bill would be like super diverse and like super fun.
Your guys' favorite thing to do outside of music?
My favorite thing to do is watch baseball. Um, so big fan of the Baltimore Orioles, who are having a really shitty year, unfortunately. But love going to the games with my wife. Love watching them on TV while we eat dinner. Just win or lose, kind of a diehard fan, and it's a game I love. It's relaxing. Yeah, it's just that would be top of my list.
Uh, I love mountain biking, so just like riding. I'm not like doing air jump. I'm not doing huge jumps or anything, but I just like riding on a flowy trail and getting like 5 miles or 8 miles in, and then I'm dead. So
I used to kayak a lot, but that's kind of been overtaken. Like I spend a lot of time with my family. Like my wife and our two sons were always out like on a lake somewhere, just kind of goofing off or going to the beach or doing some adventure. Like if I'm not at work or hanging out with these guys playing music, I am like on some sort of family adventure. Um, and that's, I guess that's like my most favorite thing to do is just be with them.
And the last question, this one's always my favorite one. It might be a little bit of a deep one, but it's the song you wrote that means the most to you.
Oh, um, I think the one that I have for our band that I have the most input into is a song called "Bittersweet." Um, it's kind of a song about one-sided relationships where you give and give, and the other person just takes and takes within the context mostly of work and jobs, um, and how companies don't care about you at all. And kind of chimed in some lyrics to help out with that one while I was going through like a tough patch at work in a job I ended up quitting. So just kind of still rings true for me.
so the song that I think means the most to me is Moments. Like, that was written right after or during COVID, and it's about getting back together with friends and things like that. So I still think whether it's a pandemic that separates us or just life being busy and it's been a couple of years, Moments still resonates that like, when we come together, it's like a joyous, happy time. So yeah, I love that one.
I think You Are Not Alone for this current release is one of the things that I am most proud of being a part of from a writing perspective. I think the messaging in that one and I'm so excited to see what happens with that song when it's played live and how folks react to it. Um, but I also have to say I just took a venture of my own into writing a song and released it a while ago, and nobody's really listening to it, and that's fine. But I think for the lyrical content, it was like the first thing that I wrote, like all by myself, and that's kind of been pretty meaningful to me. Overall, it's kind of just about life and getting by and how everything's going to be okay and getting through it all with your your loved ones. That's been pretty important to me too.
Chris, I gotta, now that you just gave that deep story, what's the song called?
Oh, I didn't want to need to get into all that, but it's called 13 Miller Lights.
The most important thing to
Yeah, it's I'm really getting dialed into this writing thing. I'm knocking it out.
Oh
And
my
what's
God.
great is too is I put my wife is on the cover art. Steve helped me with it, and she was like, "Oh, is this a song about me?" And I was like, "It's kind of about you." And she's like, "Oh my God, what's it called?" I was like, 13 Miller Lights. And she's like, "What? What is this?" I was like, "You don't have to listen to it. It's fine."
Oh,
I love the deep backstory.
Put a lot of time and effort into that tune.
It was awesome. I was like, oh, if he doesn't say the name, I'm gonna make him say it just because
I
it's
was wondering if it was like, oh, maybe he just doesn't want to say the name of it, but
I kind
holy
of didn't.
shit.
Kind of didn't.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my
Thanks,
God,
Steve.
that threw me for that's gonna be the first thing I play when I get off this call. Holy shit.
How does he
Oh
say
my
the
God.
song is so like heartfelt and meaningful to him? What is this?
about beer.
Look, I'm a less than Jake fan. This is the norm for me. Well, this was everything that I had planned for this interview. I can't wait to talk to you guys again in the future. And now that I know that you guys are probably going to be coming down closer to my area in the near future, I hope to see you guys live soon. But until then, were there any plugs you wanted to make? Any closing message to any AMC TV fans watching?
We're going on a quick tour toward Chicago, starting September 24th, and so we'll be doing Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit, and Chicago. Then we come back home October 18th and play Jam and Java with Huntingtons and Celebration Summer.
I
So
hope you see
come
these things.
out to any of those shows, and if you can't catch us there, we're at the Mecca of Punk Rock, which is we're at Plain Fest in Gainesville, Florida, in October. So if we don't see you on the road, we'll see you down in Florida.
Well, thank you guys so much for the time. This was so much fun, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear this EP and to talk with you guys again sometime in the future. And to everybody who watched this, thank you so much for watching. You're Not Alone comes out September 19th via Smart Punk Records. And until the next interview, stay tuned, stay scared, and I'll catch you later.